Alrighty. Hey, what's up? So this is a channel I used to watch a long time ago, man. I was going through some videos on my watch later playlist, and I was like, man, I wanted to look at this dude's videos for a while, and I added him to the reaction playlist, and I was like, it's time. It's time. He hasn't posted video in a long time. I think it's been like 2 or 3 years, but this video is like from 8 years ago on YouTube. This is five alleged battles between aliens and humans. I love aliens. I love like conspiracy theories and all that stuff. I just find it so interesting, um, especially when they end up being true. So yeah, let's see what he has to say.
Hey guys, hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for watching Beyond Science. It's Mikey Chen. You know, one superpower I always wish I had was the ability to fly. I mean, that's pretty boring, right? I'm sure a lot of people want to be able to fly. But the reason I don't want that superpower anymore is one, it's cold up there. I wouldn't want to fly around everywhere in a winter jacket. That's just not cool. And two, I would probably get shot down by some nation's military. I mean, governments nowadays go to great lengths to monitor the skies and will not hesitate to use military force against anything they deem a threat. So that got me thinking, what about UFOs? I mean, if aliens are indeed visiting us and they're just flying around up there somewhere, probably not even wearing seatbelts, phones aren't on airplane mode, breaking every aviation rule in the book. So why aren't they getting blasted by some trigger-happy military somewhere? I guess it could be that they have the technology which makes them undetectable, or maybe they're just too fast for us. But did you know there are claims that humans have already engaged with suspected UFOs and aliens in battle? And if that's true, then that's pretty dumb, right? But here are 5 alleged battles between humans and aliens. Number 1, and probably the most famous intergalactic battle of them all, the Battle of Los Angeles. The Battle of Los Angeles, also known as the Great LA Air Raid, is one of the most mysterious incidents of World War II. On February 24th, 1942, all the way into the morning of February 23rd, LA was suddenly in chaos, as it was reported that Japanese planes were spotted above. So of course, the logical response was to fire around 1,500 shells into the air from anti-aircraft guns, but they hit nothing. To this day, no one knows for sure what exactly flew over LA, but many people believe the planes they saw were actually extraterrestrials, with one eyewitness describing what he saw as an enormous flying lozenge. Others say they saw a large round object in the skies over Clover City and Santa Monica. The strange object was pale orange in color and was glowing. It took a lot of gunfire but was not damaged and drifted south toward Long Beach and vanished from view. After this incident, perhaps the most credible proof of alien activity was this famous LA Times photograph showing an ominous saucer-like object hovering over the...
Yo, that is pretty creepy looking. Like, just imagine being there, like, especially in the 40s before the whole, like, alien thing and, like, movies about aliens were really, like, kind of, like, I guess more so mainstream. That would be pretty cool. Well, they used to have, like, radio stuff going on, but you didn't have the visual, because you would just hear, like, radios talking about, I don't know. Anyways, I think that would be pretty creepy. I think it would be interesting to see a UFO in real life. I feel like I think it was like one time where I thought I did, but like sometimes I'm just like, man, maybe I'm just like putting that thought into my head. But yeah.
the city, with all the searchlights focusing on one object in the sky. Next, we have the disappearance of Felix Moncla. Lieutenant Felix Moncla was stationed at Kinross Air Force Base in Michigan in 1953. One day, a UFO appeared on the radar and, of course, not responding, so Moncla was ordered to take a jet and intercept the mysterious object to find out what it was. According to the ground radar operators, Moncla's jet closed in on the UFO at 7,000 feet, going at about 500 miles per hour on an interception path, and then suddenly the jet and the UFO merged and disappeared. Everyone thought they must have crashed into each other, but a search and rescue team was sent out and found no wreckage or debris. Neither Moncla nor his plane was ever seen again. Next, and just as creepy, Frederick Valenti.
That's pretty crazy. That kind of sounds like some Bermuda Triangle type thing. Like I didn't ever even heard of that before.
and the strange aircraft. In October 1978, an Australian pilot named Frederick Valentich was flying to King Island when he radioed the air traffic control in Melbourne to report that he is seeing a UFO following him at 4,500 feet. He said that the strange object appeared to be orbiting above him, had a shiny metal surface, and was illuminated by 4 bright landing lights and moving at high speeds. The last radio recording was Valentich saying, "The strange aircraft is hovering on top of me again. It is hovering and it's not an aircraft." After he said that, a strange metallic noise went on for 17 seconds before the radio was cut off. The noise was analyzed, but no one could explain what it was. But just
Yo, that's pretty crazy. I've never heard of like these last 3 things. I think I've heard of the Battle of Italy before. I can't remember for certain, but the last 2 I've never heard of before ever.
Just like Felix Moncla, Valentich was never found again. Number 4, and this one's kind of crazy, so I'm going to tell you about it and then you can form your own opinion. Phil Schneider was an explosive expert who helped build...
And also, these don't really seem like battles too much to me. It just seems like we saw something that looked unfamiliar and then we fired, but it doesn't seem like there's any interaction. Well, I can't say interaction, but it wasn't any like fire from them. I think that would be interesting. Like if an alien fired... Yo, I can't even say that'd be interesting. That'd be scary. Like, what you talking about, D? Yo, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Secret bases for the US government in 1979. He said that he was one of 3 people who survived a battle with aliens in August of 1979 and was the only person who was going to speak out about the government keeping such important information away from the public. Starting in 1995, Schneider began to talk about his alien experience but died 2 years later due to an apparent suicide. Many people believe that to be a false claim, however, due to many reasons that say otherwise. First off, there was no suicide note anywhere. Okay, that might not be very strange, but secondly, it seemed that Schneider knew he was going to die because he told his friends and relatives that if he ever committed suicide, then they would know that he'd actually been murdered. Thirdly, Schneider's expensive belongings like gold coins, money, jewelry, mineral specimens, etc. were left untouched in his apartment, but all his lecture material, photographs of UFOs, and any other alien-related materials disappeared. And finally, according to friends and family, Schneider was a very religious individual and didn't even believe in the concept of suicide. So huge controversy about his death, but here's what he said he saw. Schneider said that when he was working for the US government, he helped to build a secret base in Dose in the August of 1979. He was very suspicious because of the amount of special forces, Green Berets around the area. What's more, after drilling the holes for the base, a strange black Saudi air came out, which Schneider found very strange. To find out why the air was all black and sooty, he went underground to assess the area and encountered a 7-foot-tall alien. Here's what Schneider said. The stench was worse than the worst garbage can. The entity was absolutely horrible. There wasn't just one alien there either. There were 3. Schneider said he managed to kill the first 2 aliens with his pistol, but when he aimed for the 3rd one, it made a hand motion in front of his chest, hit him with a strange blue beam, which opened him up like a fish. He said that thankfully a Green Beret arrived and saved his life while sacrificing his own. According to Schneider, that Green Beret...
Yo, that is... First off, to be opened up like a fish is crazy, man. I don't even see how you can come back from that. That's crazy. Like, I just remember dissecting fish, and I think it was in middle school, or maybe it was high school, and thinking that, like, this is really disgusting, and you just see all, like, the organs and stuff, and it's... I don't know. I don't know if that's what he meant being opened up like a fish, but that's what I think of when I hear that.
He was not the only soldier who passed away during that particular conflict. In fact, 60 people lost their lives that day to strange 7-foot-tall beings. Apparently, there were only 3 survivors, including Schneider himself, but the other 2 are now living in nursing homes and are secretly protected by the Canadian government. Schneider said that the war he experienced was one of thousands that occurred around the world, all against aliens. He said that there were 129 of these bases in the US, and each base cost more than $17 billion to build. I don't know, it just seems kind of weird to me that if he's there to build a base, why is he carrying around a pistol? And if he himself was able to take out 2 aliens, then how come all the Green Berets and Special Forces, who I would think fights better than him, were all massacred? Anyway, let's go on.
Yeah, that sounds weird too. And then it's just like to be opened up like a fish, but then get saved by a Green Beret. That's crazy. And when you take out 2 aliens with a pistol, but then one of them just does some hand movement, that kind of just sounds off to you. But I mean, who knows, you know? I mean, like, even though I like conspiracy theory, you know, I'll be a little critical of them. sometimes.
To number 5, the secret alien Russian Cold War. According to a new book that has recently been released.
Oh, and I mentioned earlier it didn't seem like any of these were war, but I mean, in that case, that does seem like, or a battle. That seemed like more of a battle.
There has been a war between aquatic aliens and the Russians for some time now. Usually we hear about space aliens and some people don't even believe those are real. And now we're saying there's aliens in the ocean. Maybe these aquatic aliens are just mermaids. Anyway, according to UFO authors Paul Stonehill and Philip Mantle, the Kremlin has tight control on files that have details about unidentified submersible objects, or USOs, and some of the details from these files have been leaked. The information in these files speak of strange encounters between Russian submarines and huge unknown objects in the sea that aren't whales or any other large sea creatures, maybe Nessie? In their new book, Russia's USO Secrets, Stonehill and Mantle described these sea creatures to be 3 meters tall, clothed humanoids that can be found by traveling 50 meters deep into the Sea of Siberia. One story in the book talks about something that happened to a Russian commander called General V. Demyanenko in 1982. In the summer of that year, a couple of military leaders were training divers from Turkestan and Central Asia military regions. It just so happened that Demyanenko was visiting the officers that day and told the local officers about a strange event that happened while his own group was performing similar diving exercises in Trans-Baikal and Western Siberian military regions. He said that there, his Soviet Navy divers saw weird underwater swimmers, as they call them, which were gigantic human-like creatures that were around 3 meters tall. Demyanenko was so shocked that he actually tried to capture one of these creatures. Sadly, he failed when the 7 divers who were sent for the mission were pushed to the surface by a weird force when they tried.
Okay, I had to look up to see how, I don't know how tall 3 meters is, but when I do the conversion in the feet, that's pretty much almost like, it's 9 feet and 10 inches, or 9 feet and 11 inches, we'll say that. That is really tall. Like, when he said 3 meters, I'm thinking, oh, that's probably like 7, 8 feet, but then for it to be almost, we'll just give it a 10 feet. That is really tall. I'm trying to think of what, like, you could compare that to. Because I know Shaq is really tall. He's like 7'1". So, I mean, that 10 feet is ridiculous.
To get to the creature. So there you go, guys. Those are 5 claims of battles that supposedly happen between humans and aliens. I do feel there's something really strange happening with the disappearance of Felix Moncla, also the Battle of Los Angeles. The other ones, I'm not quite sure. There has been speculation that Valentich actually believes in UFOs and may have staged his own disappearance. And then Phil Schneider's story was just, I don't know, just too incredible for me. But let me ask you guys, do you believe any of these were real encounters between humans and aliens? And also, let me ask you, do you think there is a secret war going on right now between humans and aliens that we don't know about, like the whole Men in Black thing? Oh, and speaking of,
yeah, so it was this one theory that I thought was pretty interesting. I'll see if I can find a video on it, but just to go ahead and tell you what it is, when you look at the human advancement in, like, let's just say like the last 60, 70 years, we've advanced to an amazing level. Like, when you think about like where television was, or cell phones weren't even a thing. Telephones were a thing. I'll give the telephones a thing. But I mean, the advancement of human technology in the last 60, 70 years, they were talking about us being able to engineer, human technology from alien technology. Or I guess we could say reverse engineer their technology and turn it into, I guess, like a synthetic version of our own. I just thought that was really interesting. I was like, I could kind of see it. I mean, when you just think about the fact that, humans, humans for thousands of years have ridden horses. And, in the last 120, 130 years, we've had cars. And you look at the first car ever made till now, or even the first plane. I don't think the first plane was until like 1912, or maybe a little bit before the 1900s. And then you look at planes now, and just commercial planes or private jets or even drones. I mean, the technology is interesting. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out.
Man, even Jesus had a shooter, and God be having unbelievers that didn't mess up their demeanor. And yes, they know it's hard, they know, cause when they be up in those trenches, man, they show out.